I decided I'm going to start doing a weekly collective reading each week, which are going to be released on Tuesdays. So it's Tarot Tuesday, and I feel somehow that it would be a great opportunity for me to be able to offer you a reading and pick up on the collective read. And I sat quietly, and what I actually also did was I already opened 3 cards, the first 3 set of cards to start the reading with. Sometimes I do watch the other tarot channels and I find them all a bit long-winded and with all the shuffling, so I'm going to avoid doing all the shuffling. I've spread cards which I'll go into now, and I will then pull some more clarifiers and maybe just open the spread up. So this is for anybody who is listening to it. It is kind of timeless in the sense that if you're looking at the video at the time that you are, then there could be a message here for you. And otherwise, we are looking at the 2nd of June to the 8th, which is roughly the kind of the Venus retrograde phase. And I think at the moment we're going through a huge shift, and there's lots of things going on in the world that is quite distressing. But with Venus being retrograde, it is a lot to do with our personal values. And I think what's really quite amazing is, I'll just go straight into the reading, because one of the first cards from the Energy Oracle card I got was the Door to Value. Okay, so it's really important in some way that I feel that for many people it's a real opportunity to start looking in to opening yourself up, going into your inner temple, if you like, to start really kind of inquiring about what your currency is. What is your personal currency? Where do you spend time? Where do you put your time? Where do you spend your money? Venus is also to do with money. It's to do with your relationships. So I think this is a real good opportunity for many people really to start looking at what actually contributes to allow you to blossom in the world, what blossom in your life, as with where you really put your time. So are you doing jobs that actually fulfill you? Are you actually spending time with people that fulfill you? And I feel that this is, I'm going to show you the card again. It is a real important time for you to be actually inquiring, to open the door to your own inner world and start questioning where your value is, and to start questioning the people around you. So if you're feeling that certain people are actually not nourishing you, perhaps you really need to look at that, okay, and then make an inquiry. It is all very personal, and sometimes we can actually end up staying in relationships. This is also personal relationships as well, that can actually not really serve us anymore, and it is very hard actually to leave them, which is very interesting, because the next card here that also got pulled out was actually the idea of walking away. Now this could be a physical move of walking away, or it could be actually your mental state that you're walking away from. So you might find that for a long time now that you've actually been thinking negatively, say that you felt that you couldn't really earn much money, or you're not doing the right thing, or you don't really know where to get your money from, or you don't know how to earn your money, or you've been actually making an inquiry about what you feel like you need to do. You perhaps need to walk away from some of the jobs that deep down are not serving you, or you might even need to walk away or start putting an end and let it go of the negative thinking. Because this is a general reading now, it is going to be quite general. That's one of the reasons I've kind of not been doing these readings, because I find that you end up covering quite a large spectrum. But I feel that it would be for some reason I was really moved to start doing these. I felt that there was a lot to communicate, and I wanted to start feeling that I wanted to contribute by adding value, hopefully, into your lives by some messages that you might get. So I feel with these 2 cards together, definitely that there is an opportunity even for you to go through one door into another. So if you see that there is this door being opened, and then you're having to leave one of it behind to go to the other, okay, so this could well be an opportunity for some of you, if you're actually looking for a job, that you might find that one door closes and the other one opens, or a double whammy where a door opens and you're actually really happy to be moving forward. This character I feel here on the right definitely has a sense of, she's kind of taking a quick glimpse back, but not really. She's kind of like just looking over her shoulder, as if she's not wasting time to really kind of brood over the past, or brood past, sort of brood over maybe what she's leaving behind. I feel like in some way that there's an opportunity for some transformation and growth for many of you that are actually moving forward, and also an opportunity for you to start actually releasing some of your actual more blossoming qualities. Okay, I'm kind of picking that up from, if you look at there's a full branch of blossoms, and here it's quite barren, and in some way I feel like you're going to start moving towards something that we can actually start maybe actually challenging yourself to grow more into. You also are being guided, and it is a really good thing for you to actually, well, as you're walking away, to feel courageous and to to ask any angels or guides or any allies that you might actually sort of want to call on to help you as you move on. There it is, as if you're being guided. So if there's any effort or thinking that you've been thinking about, this is a really good time to be moving forward. Okay, I also feel that you're moving towards something that's going to be much more empowering, and definitely going to be flowering into something much more special. What's the next layer of cards? In fact, I've got two clarifiers on this one, because the first card that actually came, this is where Spirit also wants to guide you with. And interestingly, I got the 5th chakra, the Angel Gabriel. This is all from the Energy Oracle deck by Sandra Ann Taylor. Okay, I've seen these from the other tarot readers. I just sort of mix up whatever I decide to sort of put my hands on, whatever I feel moved to sort of use. And I feel with Archangel Gabriel here, there could be some connection of communication that you might need to make in order for you to walk away. All right, or you might actually need to sort of talk to yourself to actually really affirm that you have the power to move on, and you can make the actual correct choices for yourself. This is really important, I feel. For some reason, my eyes also is led to the throat chakra here, where there's that sort of blue crystal in Gabriel's throat, and I really feel that somehow there's some kind of honest communication either with yourself, or an opportunity for you to move towards something that's much more true to yourself in terms of self-expression. Now, some of you might go into writing as well, or some kind of visual work, or something very creative, that's for sure. All right, so you are being supported, and you're actually going to get lots of internal or sort of, I feel like there'll be a week of incredible downloading of information, and you might find that your mind will be full of possibilities and ideas. It is time for you to actually make yourself known, I would say. And if it, again, in terms of also not only work yourself known in terms of your career or your own personal business, or even in your choices, but I feel somehow that you might need to also make yourself known to any kind of communication that you need to have that you might be avoiding. Okay, what's important, so when I asked for a clarifier with this, I actually got the card of attachment. Okay, now you can see here a woman holding a mask away from her face, and she's chained to a post. And if you can see that. Oops, it's gone blurred. Okay, and I find this quite interesting. I do feel in some way, looking at this together, I think in some way that you need to take your mask off now. It's as if you've been hiding, you've been shielding yourself from the truth of who you are. You could have been in a relationship where you've been always appeasing the other, or working around towards somebody else's commands or demands, or maybe it is even time for you to actually take some time out for yourself, where you feel that you need to actually really look at yourself and stop putting a face on for others in your life. So if you need some time out, do take the time out, but it might need communicating. Okay, especially when people are really been there for you, or there's some value in that friendship and that relationship. It is really important that we don't ghost people, that you don't just pull away without informing people, that you can actually sort of say that, look, I need to take some time out. But this is very much about honest communication, especially with Gabriel here. This is about true communication, be able to communicate clearly and to be able to articulate what your needs are. Also, with the throat chakra, it's very much related to manifestation, but also your creative manifestation and your self-expression. So if you are one of those people that are moving towards that, this is a very good time now for you to make that inquiry, and maybe to release the mask of holding yourself back and actually really showing the world, showing the people around you, or moving towards something where you can really start revealing who you are by taking that mask off. This card also, I would say, interestingly, when it comes to walking away here, is to release any attachment. So if you actually are one of those people that's finding it hard way to move away, you might need to let go of the idea that you think, or the past, or playing out the old story, or playing all the narrative or the mask that, or the person that you were before. All right, and in order to do that, you have to actually reveal yourself, or take the mask off. I was looking at this card a bit earlier as well, and I noticed something that I hadn't really noticed before, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a really good shot. So if you actually look, let me see if this would come into focus. No. If you actually look at her wrist or her hand, there's a ring, a chain, yes, where she's attached to the post. But actually, if you really look really closely, her hand is small enough that can actually go through the ring very easily. It's such a delicate hand, in fact, that she can kind of almost slide her her hand out completely. So I feel in some way this attachment is one that you actually have yourself attached to, rather than somebody holding you to it. Okay, and that also actually is quite a true thing to say, because nobody really has the power or hold over us. It's only us that feels or decides that we don't actually have the power. But I do feel in some way that it is time for you to also definitely release any attachments that you might have, and certainly release the mask and reveal who you are. I feel also that it's also a really good time for you to start now releasing. Two ways I can look at this. There's a cobweb in the corner of this room as well, so in some way it's time for you to maybe weave your new it's too probably faint, but it's just there. It's time for you to weave your own, you cast your net out again, and start sort of attracting the right people and the right things in your life, and certainly get rid of the ones that have been stuck and holding you back. Okay, you don't want anything, so if this cobweb was also to be in some way that to release any of the old cobwebs, yeah, and I'm kind of getting that quite strongly. Yeah, so it's really time for you to clean out the cobwebs, clean out all the old structures that no longer actually serve you, and really sort of dust it down. It's like with any kind of room that when you sort of really don't give it a good clean out, that you would actually find that you've got cobwebs possibly growing on the corners of your ceilings. So really a good time to start releasing some attachments that you have towards some ex possibly, or some idea that you've had for ages, or maybe even an attachment towards how you've been doing things. Okay, because if we go back to the first card, the first key card, this is the actual main element of the whole reading, which is to actually open the reality of what you value, and really looking at where your currency is, like I said, and what you value. Okay, so in some way you might have had some a lower value to yourself, and it's now time for you to release that. Also, it could be something that you might have had an idea about something, but in fact there's no real value to it, or you're putting a lot of effort into it and then you feel that there is no value to that. Or you can actually even upgrade it by asking yourself, how can I put more value into what I'm doing? Okay, but it is releasing any of the old attachments, any of the old thinking as well, and possibly even coming out with some new bright ideas, and actually walking away from maybe the old thoughts you had, or the old plans that you had, and actually moving to something new. Now also with this figure, we don't actually know where she's going, and we have no idea. So it's a bit like the Fool's card, where you're actually being open to just sort of going out the gate and see where it might take you. This is your current situation, so I would say to be really open-minded, to be open-hearted, and to be compassionate towards yourself as well as you move forward. Use your insights, so use the wisdom that you've gained from a situation, the experience that you might have gained from a situation as well, and make sure that you can actually take what you've learned away with you. I asked for another clarifier on top of this one, because I just thought it was quite interesting, and or maybe in fact what could have happened was there was two cards that fell out, because in fact I drew this yesterday and wanted to and decided I was going to record it today. And this card actually probably came out with at the same time, which was the card of appreciation from the Energy Oracle deck. Now I feel that this is what Spirit's guiding you as well. So I feel the challenge here could be also for you to actually speak of the appreciation, maybe find the good qualities from the people who've actually have hurt you, or who have come to the end of the road with you, and find some qualities where you can actually appreciate them just in your sense of self, so you can actually bless them away. I also feel that in some way you can also bless and certainly appreciate the people around you, and not to forget to notice what's around you. If you notice that she's holding a rose, So therefore, you know, just take your time to really observe the things around you, where you can actually be informed of the appreciation. Maybe it could be the beauty of nature, it could be a smell of the rose. You know, if you actually put your nose to any of the roses which are in full bloom at the moment, all the roses, if you don't know, have different smells, different scents. You know, the white roses has a different scent smell to the white or the pink one, or to the peach ones. They're all slightly different, and oh, it's absolutely stunning. It's absolutely amazing to sort of take time to smell the roses. So I would say also appreciate maybe what you've had before, or even if things haven't worked out, to appreciate the kind of the difficult road that has got you to where you are now, because without that difficult passage, you would not be where you are now. Okay, sometimes I know it's hard and we go through a really thorny and difficult time, and but we need to really appreciate the journey as well how far we've got. For some of you as well, there might still be some grieving to do. My eyes have gone down to a hanky there. All right, so in some way, you know, don't be afraid to grieve or have some tears about it, and let that come as it comes. Okay, try not to sort of stall yourself. Just allow the tears to come when they do. Try not to berate yourself out of that grief, because the more you can actually honor your feelings, I feel, is the more you can actually also therefore move through it. Yeah, I feel also that she's got an incredible, beautiful gown on. So really do appreciate the riches around you in your world as well, okay? And not to be afraid to look out for new riches as well. She's looking straight out with a new vision, with new possibility and new hope, I feel. Okay, so really let go of the ones that no longer serve you in a positive way, which really clarifies this one. But don't forget to appreciate it. Sometimes it really helps to appreciate what you've had. And one thing I used to do, for example, was when I used to move flats, which I've done over the years quite a lot, I would always ensure that when I moved, or even jobs that I've done for clients, you know, I would actually go round each room and thank it before I left the place. You know, sort of blessed it, and with that blessing you kind of have a nice closure, and it really helps to have that full closure. All right, so I'm going to now move on to another in fact I'm going to do one more card from this. Okay, now I've already pre-shuffled them. All right, and what's underneath here, interestingly, you know, is a happy family. So I do feel that most of us and most people will actually, and this is including myself actually, we're moving towards, I feel like, a new kind of vibe, a new tribe, people who actually really have, who invested in us, people who really see us for who we truly are, people who can actually really allow us to shine as well. If you look at that rainbow, you know, the rainbow's full of different colors. Okay, and I feel like in some way that possibly some of you need to move towards people who actually really honor all of you, and not just some parts. It's not limited by categorizing what's good about you or what's not good about you, but trusting that you are fine as you are, you're beautiful, you're bright, and you've got all a range of characters and personality to offer, and they're the right people who are actually waiting to join forces with you and actually create what I would call a happy family. Now, for those maybe who are already in some kind of family attachment and stuff, maybe this could be an opportunity as well. You find that you're actually, by speaking out your truth and actually communicating your needs, or communicating what's not working and what you need to have work, will actually bring the unity back into your family life or into your relationship as well. But what's really important is that we can no longer stay in an area, and really with Venus retrograde, which actually goes to the end of June, this is very much a time for exploring our true value and worth. So this is what was at the bottom of the deck as well. I'm just going to open, rather just shuffle. Here's another, oh, there's two that fell out. Okay, so in order to also, and like I said to you earlier on, I feel that in some way that actually for some of you, by actually taking some time out, you might actually get to the essence of really being clear of what you need to have come to you. Okay, what value is yours, and really allowing yourself to feel. Okay, I feel also interestingly this month, particularly in June, overall theme is not about the doing so much, but more about the being. So I think it's a really good time to actually take some time out. Okay, now interesting as well, this other card fell through, which I'm going to just read because it fell out. And this is actually a card that shows that in order for you to untie yourself, very much that you need to come, you know, to this, or, you know, to start engaging in some solitude. Okay, now rest and rejuvenation can be anything from actually taking time out, you know, reading a really quiet book. Ideally, you actually want to just be really kind of sensing the energy around you. Really begin to sense what you're feeling, what's bothering you, you know, but it's not until we can get really quiet. Now, I know we've all kind of coming out of lockdown as well, and lots of people are sort of racing away, racing back to work and everything, but those who are actually in a fortunate position to actually still have some time to themselves to actually really rest and rejuvenate, I really recommend it. Okay, and this, I feel, that will also then undo any of the kind of sense of obligation or any sense of limitation that you definitely would have felt. Okay, this card, because it's in the outcome, informs me that you're actually in a place now where you're ready to release anything that's had tied you up. So if anybody's keeping you small, anyone or any job or anything, or a relationship even, that has you tied into not being able to be who you are, it really is time for you to release yourself, because this is what's really important, that you move. This is where you're now considering you need to get quiet to be able to really articulate that and start noticing what thoughts are coming through. Okay, and then also where you can actually let go of things as well that has you tied up. It could actually be even things more on a practical level, more on a physical level, that maybe you have too many things in the house that you can get rid of, that will clear up some energy. It could also mean that you are outgrown some things. It could be some clothes or some friends as well. I feel like there's an overgrowth here that I just noticed. So anything that has you holding you back, anybody you've outgrown, I really feel now is really, really paramount that you do let go. Okay, I really feel that anyone that no longer serves you in a positive way, this is the key, all right? And you have to, in order for that, you have to be really clear and really honest. Take an honest inventory of who's around you. You know, do you notice that maybe you spend way too much time talking to somebody and you find that you're actually kind of beginning to feel obliged to be there for that person or talk to them all the time? Do you find, you know, in some way that certain people actually always dump on you, or they're taking a lot of your time in terms of putting a lot of negativity in your life? These are the kind of things you want to really consider. It could be also now, since the lockdown, you realize that your work's taking away a lot of the joys, or you don't feel the same way. Do be honest so you can actually move towards a better life, basically, okay? A much more united set place in your life. I'm now going to look at the soldier, and I'm going to like I said, I've already shuffled this once, and on the bottom of this deck, again, interestingly, now this is very much to do with relationships, so I can't help but really sort of say that we are very much sorry, I just got distracted by the I thought the battery was about to run out on my camera. But this is very much about, you know, us releasing, and again, this web, this huge beautiful matrix of connections here is like a matrix, or it's like a mosaic art, or even a very spiritual art, where you are naturally going to be drawn to the people you're with. Okay, and then if you notice, there's kind of like the inner sphere and then the outer. Okay, so you know, you're going to be moving towards people who are much more central to yourselves, and releasing other people maybe out into the outer. Okay, it says here, I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So every person that actually comes into our lives, any relationship we've had, any marriages that have broken down, any relationships that's lost or gone, it's all an experience, and in fact it always serves our highest good for us to be able to learn from them. Okay, and while it may be painful, it shows that you're aware, you're awake, and you're allowing yourself to move forward in a better direction. And again, this is very much key, all right? Don't be one of those people that remain stuck out of fear of moving forward and walking away, you know, because there's a brighter life and a better life that's actually calling you, and very much awaiting what you can actually really have. Okay, the happy family is not limited at all to actually a family unit, but the extended family of friends, the extended friends and the community, okay? And we're very much moving towards more like-minded collaborations and community. So this is actually really, really wonderful. I'm going to pull another card out from the relationship deck. Okay, so that was what was underneath. So very much the essence of the relationship is very key also through the soul journey. And I really believe that on a soul level, we are all ascending and we're all waking up to something more. So let's see if there's another card that wants to reveal itself. Otherwise, I will choose one. Okay, I'm going to choose one. Okay, so this is another one that's quite interesting. This is to do with discipline. So I feel in some way here, I think you might, discipline says I can accomplish to do what I set my mind to. I feel in this instance, this card is more to do with the fact that you can actually be disciplined into honoring yourself and to be truthful about really what's really right for you, okay? Also because the door to value is about what you value. So if you value your body, okay, and you really, really value your body and you actually want to implement some new eating habits, okay, this is also informing you that you have the discipline and you can call in on the energy of discipline, okay, through your allies, through your guides, and through your inner parent or yourself or your higher self to help you with the discipline. Okay, this also will definitely be taking a stronger form for sure towards the end of the month. Okay, but you just know that you can actually accomplish what you set your mind to do and call in the power of discipline to help you en route. So this is really important as well, which is really nice. So again, if you are feeling that you need to release some friendships, know that you have the ability and the discipline to do that. Okay, because sometimes it's really easy to talk ourselves out of anything. All right, we might have the habit to talk to the same people. We might have the habit to eat the same kind of foods. We might have a habit for reaching out for something that's not very healthy. But whatever it is, it's about having a relationship with yourself as well. That's very, very important because this is a real time now. We're moving into a whole new paradigm that the value we put on ourselves and the value we put out into the world is going to actually forge a new path, a new opportunity, new doors will be opening. And in order to do that, we've got to get disciplined as well and actually sit, okay, and in meditation or in quiet. You can actually just go to the park and sit on a bench. This morning I was actually in a beautiful public park local to me, and there was a man who just came along on his bike, and he just parked his bike and he just sat on the bench, just listening and just tuning in. It was his meditation. It was a quiet moment. Maybe he came for some reflection and thinking, but this is what we all need to be doing. So it's very, very important. Okay, so on a soul level, our relationships are also, so just to recap, our relationships are really important, and to readdress the relationships that need changing, very important, and to have the discipline to follow through. So if you know that some friendships have had their time way past the sell-by date, I recommend that you actually get disciplined and start structuring new people to go out with, or even if it means actually that you may be on your own for a while, okay, and spending some time. All right, do not restrict yourself from relationships that are actually kind of binding you up and not feeding your soul or unable to feed you in any way. Yeah, and also maybe spend some time appreciating yourself, all right, more. So there are times sometimes when we let go of people, there is a void. There's a void of nothingness. There's a void of space, where we miss, the kind of space that people occupied, and just trust that's a natural process to go through in order for you to start finding, you might find that you're floundering a bit, but you must have the discipline to stick with it. Okay, so if you find that your relationship is imploded, in the next few days or coming up soon or any time or when it has imploded, to have the discipline to stick with what you know is right for you. Very, very important. Okay, because sometimes it's really easy to talk ourselves out of a decision that we've made or situation and to be tempted to go back. So I'm going to leave those two there. Right. I'm going to pull, this is, like I said, a collective, so anybody listening, I'm going to pull the surrender. So let's see what card might be suitable. Now I've pre-shuffled these as well, so I might just choose one. One came out. Oh, okay. So this also has a very interesting time. yeah, again, this is actually surrender to non-action. So I feel in some way this is actually really okay. I apologize about that. I don't know what happened to my camera. It decided to suddenly tell me that it was splitting into two and got majorly distracted, and I also don't know quite where it got to, but I actually pulled, or this one fell out, which is actually the card of non-action, which I also feel that really is this. Okay, you know, this figure is actually sitting, resting, and rejuvenating. So there's a real clear message here right now, particularly probably in June, you know, for to be looking at really taking more time, maybe actually even cutting up, you know, removing yourself from people right now if you can, or your regular friends. And people that you might have more engaged with. I think it's a really good time. I mean, I know personally as well, interesting, I've been very much feeling that and needing to sort of simply just kind of get back into nature, wanting to actually kind of be more inwardly focused. I think somehow with the lockdown as well, that a lot of people kind of got into a lot of activity, a lot of flurry, because there was a sense of lack of control, that we couldn't actually control where we could go on the outside. So in some way there was a lot more activity within the home. People, you know, kind of clearing out, doing this and doing that, and I was busy doing my vlogs and everything else. Whereas now I actually feel like I want to get quiet and actually, you know, just be more. And it's really interesting because this is also very reflective. So, you know, don't worry if you've actually applied for things, you know, new clients or work or jobs, or even in a romance, just stay still, you know, let others come to you. This is a time for you, maybe. And I feel with the let others is let the inspiration come to you as well. This is really important at the moment. So, you know, maybe really listening to what your value is. Okay, like I said, because this really is the key theme at the moment about what we value, what we love doing in life, where we want to be in life, how do we really want to map out our lives, how do we really want to show up, what's really moving us. Okay, you know, this is no longer a time to start living out of somebody else's belief systems, parental infringement of what your career should be, or anything like that. This is very much a time for you to get reconnected and start tuning in and listening to your own voice. Now you've also got Archangel Gabriel. Okay, he's communicating with you, so this is a really important time. And if you notice these three cards, they're all very blue. Okay, so I also really suggest, I did another YouTube and I put it on the on one of the boxes, maybe just at this point, but on the throat chakra meditation, and I talked about the kind of the elements of the chakra and what you can actually do, particularly around the throat chakra. All right, and that will give you some advice and some guidance. Okay, but very important that you tune into the color blue, imagine it on your throat, and just get quiet, sit still, and imagine the color blue, you know, sort of penetrating your whole body and around you, particularly around your throat. All right. And what's interesting here underneath this one as well, is the card of inner peace at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so I think this is also very important. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of anger out at the moment in the collective as well. Things have been happening in the States that has really now provoked and, you know, been exposed as to the kind of the racism that in the community we've lived, and this has been going on for a very long time, but things are coming to a head. Okay, and this is happening so people can wake up and smell the coffee and actually really realize. But what's really important is that we cultivate inner peace. Okay, inner peace is really important, because when things are riled up outside it's very easy to get riled up with it and start going in and getting all aggressive and all vocal about it and stuff. And I'm not saying you can't be vocal, but I really think right now it's a very important time to it says here, cultivate your inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy the inner refuge. Okay, others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. And again, this is actually quite similar to that. All right, now this card color actually is very similar to a sacral chakra for me, which is to do with your creativity and your emotional connections and your connections with people as well. So, and also I find that in the chakra kind of color rainbow totem, if you like, or the sort of the order of things, I always find that those two really actually complement each other, the orange and the blue, and where your creativity is born, which is around the womb, or your sort of central core, this is where you go out and express it in the world through the voice, okay, and through your hands, which is also very throat chakra, and through the self-expression, be it through your body and your voice. So inner peace is very important. Now I'm just going to do one card, and I actually pre-shuffled these cards, and one card fell out straight away, which I think is really in keeping with this one, okay, which happens to be this card, which is very much about peace. Now I don't think I can even highlight enough, and I think this reading for all of us really is asking us to really go inward and start opening to our inner central peace. Okay, this piece is actually from the crown chakra, and you can see the emblem there. All right, it sits at the top. Imagine a crown. You're wearing a crown on the top of your head, and this is a real opportunity for start allowing the inspiration to be coming down through you, but more importantly to be finding your peace. Okay, like I said, it's really important that we hold on to our inner peace. And even if the world outside of us is engaging in some kind of what's that word? Chaos, all right, and anger and all this energy, there is no reason why we can actually come from a place of peace. Now you can be angry, but you know, there's a peaceful anger. You can actually be angry, but you can also communicate what you need to communicate peacefully. But you can only do that when you start actually really engaging, like I said, in this kind of practice as well, and allowing yourself and choosing peace. All right. Now the other thing I will say, when you choose peace, you can guarantee that you'll be tested to see how much you really feel that you want to get peaceful and challenged. But it'd be up to you to really hold your peace. I'm just going to find the reading just to finish off with that particular one. Okay, and there's an affirmation here which I'll read. Peace exists in each moment, which is also very similar to this. Oops, this one. All right, and within every cell of my being. So this is actually really beautiful. So when you imagine these sort of incredible luminous sparkle glitter coming down, showering down your head, your crown, and imagine that lotus flower right at the crown receiving that light all the way from the universe down through your body, seeing it through every bit of your cell, that you can actually, this is not, you don't strive for peace, you are peace. There's a peaceful being within you, and it's you accessing that. So it's very important that we actually realize that we actually are peaceful beings, and it's just coming to by resting, taking stock, slowing down, that will really allow you to start feeling the peace within your soul. Okay, so this is really, really important. I am going to end my readings here. I have one or two other decks, but I feel that this would be actually quite nice ending to the read. Interestingly, I think there might be one or two people actually recovering maybe from a broken heart, or because I just picked this card up and I saw that. So there might be some of you actually going through a breakup as well. So this is a really important time to get rest, to rejuvenate, to grieve. Okay, maybe appreciate what the relationship has given you, like I said to you, you know, and really value what you got, and also write down and really experience the things that you really didn't appreciate, and why you actually needed to let go of the relationship. Or if you are the one that has had your heart broken through some kind of betrayal or any kind of emotional pain that was constant, okay, then it's really time for you to appreciate that you have a much higher value to experience in life, and there are much more emotionally people who are rich. Okay, people who tend to be mean in relationships or controlling in relationships or anything, they have an emotional bankruptcy. All right, so it's really important that you honor the fact that you deserve to have better emotional riches coming your way, but do cultivate in your own rest and rejuvenation first. Okay, get back to being peaceful. Try not to go dashing off into a new relationship. The best thing you can do at the moment is to walk away, to find yourself, you know, sort of experience your new territory. Yeah, and get on with ordinary things as well. So really get back into nature and start really appreciating, a bit like the appreciating card. I just opened my tarot deck and cut it in half. I was just about to end the reading, but I'm going to continue. I love doing these. Sometimes they can get really long, but that's okay. So yeah, I'm getting the feeling that this is a real important time for you to actually start really just being easy, sort of accessing somewhere quiet, walking in nature, and doing the simple things and really appreciating the ordinary. All right, really going out into nature. Okay, very much. But wherever you are, for some of you, this is going to take courage. All right, and maybe to even relinquish some control. Very important that you really get rid of control and surrender, and then just have the courage to see where your next movement is. It's really important. You might feel that you're actually feeling quite squeezed at the moment, but just know that this is an opportunity for you to find your strength. All right. Also, I recommend that you tend to your inner child. Okay, now in your child often is the part of us that gets frightened, that tends to be reactive, and particularly after getting our hearts broken. Okay, for any of those who are actually really kind of suffering with this now, there's a sense of abandonment and being left out. Very important that you actually tend to your heart and talk to your inner child. You know, get your internal parent. If you are a woman, get your mother. All of us have an internal mother. You need to get in touch with that and really nurture your inner child, and allow it to be nurtured. Okay. Don't lock your feelings in. Very important to let it out so it can be nourished, and actually allowing it to be moved through. Is there anything else? Yeah. And really this time I would again say, with the emphasis of time to stay centered, time to go inward, and really kind of honing in into yourself, so you can actually start tuning into where your peace is from your core, and getting the message that you need, and trust that in the next week or so there'll be a bit more clarity for sure. Maybe not time to act at all at this time, but very much a place where you might feel moved and centered in yourself to move forward in your life, and you maybe even begin some news of some possible opportunity and some release. Yeah, and some of you actually will be also traveling as well, so there could be definitely some movement into somewhere much warmer, in terms of emotional warmth, as well as in some cases for some as well in a much more in a warmer climate. Definitely time to release any of the negative conditioning that you've been surrounded by, or any limitation, or any partnerships that's had you tied. Very similar. Those two, I've just split my tarot into three, and that card is very much, and I think this is also to do with kind of any kind of mental conditioning that you've had. So this is very much really a period of you kind of looking inward and seeing what's limited you and what has limited you, and maybe really working towards releasing that sense of limitation that has you tied and held back. A really good time to get peaceful with yourself, maybe even do some forgiveness work, which is not hugely emphasized, but in order to come to peace, we do normally need to do that. But just trust that peace is within you, and yeah, it is definitely a time for you to be moving forward in some way, and certainly towards a better relationship, a better life, a better job for some of you, or certainly a better creative expression. So thanks for watching. I'm definitely going to end it here. I hope you get something out of that, and do comment and do subscribe and do your thumbs up or whatever you like to do. And for now I'm keeping the comments open. I'm very much willing. So this is actually a weekly forecast for the time being, but I do feel that this energy has actually spread into some part of June, quite a bit of the June. So we'll see what next week brings. So in short, just make sure that you really rest and rejuvenate. I would actually take more non-action than action at the moment. The action right now is to actually be still and cultivate on some peace. For some of you, it will be walking away for sure. But I think also it could be much more of a mental thing as well, that where you're having to let go of probably emotional pain, your thinking, anything that's had you timed up. Be disciplined also in the choices, and if you have made some decisions about maybe how you want to move forward, I would suggest that you put some thought into being disciplined, and maybe getting prepared for a disciplinary type action for yourself. Don't forget to smell the roses as you go along in life. Appreciate the beauty that's around you. Appreciate even the painful experiences that you've had, so you can actually really let them go fully. And it is a process, so take yourself some time, especially if you've been badly broken. And that does take a while. Make sure that you're moving towards people, and very much the theme is the collective theme, I think, is to definitely move towards people who really value you, who make you feel happy, who make you feel positive, who makes you know that you can reach for your sky's the limit and reach the rainbows as well. So very, very important. Right, lots of love. Thank you. And I will come back next week with another reading. Catch you then. Bye.